Hi, everyone, and welcome to our pre-departure session. It's 7th of January, so welcome everyone. Happy New Year. And today's session is all about giving you as much information as possible to ensure you have a smooth journey and process to starting your course with us here at De Montfort University. My name's Dan. I'm the Global Recruitment Development Manager, and alongside me, there'll be numerous other colleagues who will give you a lot of advice. So we'll start with the immigration and compliance advice. So we'll give you lots of information about what you need to prepare before you do arrive in the UK, as well as what you need to do in order to register here and start your course. And then we'll talk about some of the welcome activities that we've got planned for you. We've got lots planned so that you can make friends and settle in as soon as possible. And then we'll have a nice Q&A at the end as well. So please do put any comments or questions that you do have in the comment section on YouTube. And this will also be on YouTube later as well. So you don't need to record on your phones or anything like that. You can watch it back later on via YouTube, and you can also share it with your parents or anyone else that you think this would help. So this session's all for you. So this is just to make sure that you have all of your questions answered. So please don't be afraid to ask anything. No question is a silly question. Please do use this to your advantage. Okay, so first we're going to hear from one of our visa advisors here at DMU. So I'd like to welcome Adam Horton, visa advisor, to give a presentation on some of the immigration, compliance and registration information.
Hello everyone. So I'm just going to give you an introduction into what to expect when you come to the UK for your international registration appointment. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about two teams, the immigration compliance team and visa advice teams, a little bit about what we do, and just sort of a general overview on your responsibilities as a student visa holder, and also things such as the graduate route. So hopefully there's some useful information available here. But also when you come to the UK and you arrive here, there will also be more talks available on these topics, which we would strongly advise you to join, and you'll be able to join that through your faculty when you arrive here. Okay, so first of all, for international registration, so when you arrive and get into the UK, there's several steps that you need to have completed before you can actually turn up to your in-person registration appointment. So first of all, if you've not done so already, you will have needed to have paid at least 50% of your tuition fees, which you should have paid already. You'd also have got your CAS, but if you haven't done, you will need to make sure you paid at least that amount of money minimum before you'll be able to book an appointment. Once that's been completed, you should be sent an email to do your online pre-registration. So follow the instructions within that. It'll take you through a few steps that you need to complete. And once that's done, you'll get another email come through where you can book your international registration face-to-face appointment. So those are the steps you need to get to before you can actually attend your in-person registration appointment. So this information is for DMU students. So registration starts on the 25th of January. So that's the Monday. That's also when teaching starts. So we would advise you to get here as early as possible. It will be busy, but there's appointments available in the morning and afternoon. So between 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So plenty of opportunities to book appointments. And this will end on Monday, the 9th of February. So that's the registration period, start and end date. You will need to make sure that you arrive no later than the 9th of February. Please do get in contact with the university if there are any issues with you arriving by this date. But this is a hard deadline, and this is the date you will need to arrive by. As I mentioned already, the appointments are booked only. So you will be invited by email to book your appointment. You'll be able to choose a date and time that you wish to attend your appointment. So, and at which point you'll then be given the instructions in terms of the building where you'll go to and how you go about registering. When you go to your appointment, you will need to bring a share code with you, because we will need to see that. That's so we can see your visa details, your visa start and end date, etc. You will also need to bring your passport with you as well, and proof of entry to the UK. So in most cases, you might get a stamp on your passport when you arrive at the airport. But if you don't, just keep hold of your flight boarding pass and then show us that. We must see evidence of the date you arrived in the country. This is an essential document to bring with you. Once you've done all of this, you'll be registered, and then you'll go and collect your student ID card as the last step, and you'll then be able to access your timetable and start attending your classes. So I've put this information on here as well for in case any of you don't know, perhaps are not familiar with the process of what a share code is. So this is essentially a series of numbers and digits which allow us to view your visa. We put it into the Home Office website, and we can then see a photo of you, your name, the visa category that you have, and the start and end date of your visa, and the sponsor license number for the university. So if you've not already had a look, you'll need to go onto the UKVI webpage. For this, you can just type in view my e-visa. It will bring it up a gov.uk page. You scroll down to the middle of the page and you'll see a green button saying view your e-visa and get a share code. Once you click on that, you'll need to log into your UKVI account. So it'll ask for most likely your passport. It'll ask for your name, your date of birth, and it'll ask for the email address or phone number you provided to the Home Office when you applied for your visa, for you to get your security code. And once you've logged in, you can then request a share code. It will give you a list of options as to why you need the share code. So there's 3 options that are provided. One is your right to work, one is right to rent, and then the final one is for anything else, to prove my immigration status for anything else. For example, studying. So that's the option that we need. You'll click on that one. It will then bring up a share code beginning with S for study. And that's the code that you need to provide us when you attend your in-person international registration appointment. So I just want to talk a little bit now about your responsibilities as a student visa holder. This is the expectations of what the Home Office have towards you, and just to make you aware, because it is so very important that you always follow the Home Office rules and regulations, that we just like to remind students of this. Obviously, you are here to study, and obviously the most important thing for you to do here is to register, study, and successfully complete your course. You may be aware that you can work in the UK during term time up to a maximum of 20 hours a week. So it's very important that you stick to your limits on working hours, and don't let any work you might be doing in the UK jeopardize your studies. That's very, very important. If anything changes whilst you're a student at the university, for example, if your immigration status changes, if you get a new visa, then you must let us know as soon as possible, because we need to be aware of that. As part of the student visa you have to have a sponsor, and we are your sponsor, and therefore we need to take responsibility for any changes that are made to your visa, and we need to be made aware of that by you if anything changes. You also need to make sure, as well as the UKVI rules, that you are also aware of the university policies. One example is the term time address in the UK. It needs to be within 40 miles of the university, within 40 miles of Leicester. If you're studying at DMUIC, it's 30 miles. And you need to provide us with a UK phone number and a personal email address. Now, some of you, when you get here, you might not have a UK phone number. It might take you a week or so to arrange that, which is absolutely fine. We will take the number that you have available for now, whichever number that is. And then once you get your UK phone number, you will need to let us know later on. You can update that through your DMU portal as well. You must make sure that you pay your fees on time as well. So for those of you that have just paid the 50% of fees, and not all of them, you will have installment payment dates, which you will be told about when you register. So you must make sure you pay the remaining fees on time in line with those dates as well. So now let's talk a little bit about the graduate visa route, as I know some of you may already be aware of this. Some people like to refer to it informally as PSW. It is called the graduate visa route, and this is a visa you could potentially apply for if you successfully complete your course at the university. Currently, it permits you for up to 2 years to live and work in the UK. It's not sponsored by the university, so your eligibility for this visa is subject to you successfully completing the course on time. And if you do that, you should be eligible to apply for it. It's very important to be aware, however, that your eligibility can be affected by your actions when you're studying. Unfortunately, it does happen to some students, and unfortunately, they don't successfully complete the course for whatever reason. And sometimes that means they can't apply for the graduate route, which can be quite upsetting, understandably. So it's just to make you aware at this early stage that you must successfully complete the course you're sponsored for. If you don't complete it on time, there is a risk that that means you won't be able to apply for the graduate visa route. Things such as low awards mean that you can't apply for the graduate route. You must have successfully completed the course for which your CAS was issued for. You also must be in the UK. It is a UK-only visa application. You have to have a valid student visa when you're awarded. So again, this is why it's so important that you try and complete your course successfully, so that you're then able to apply for the graduate visa route at the end of your course. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit now about the immigration compliance team. So this is a team that you will be in contact with at different points. You may well have questions for them. They may well need to get information from you. So they can provide you with general guidance on the immigration rules and your responsibilities as a student visa holder. So please do reach out to them if you've got any questions. They'll be very happy to answer any questions that you might have about your visa. They may also need to get in contact with you if they have any information that they need you to provide them. So, for example, if anything changes with your address, for example, if you provide an address that's more than 40 miles away, they will be in contact with you to check that you are moving within 40 miles of campus. If any documents if they require any documents from you, such as if you've got a new passport, for example, if your old passport's expired and we don't have a copy of the new one, they will get in contact with you for your visa. Anything changes with that, they will be in contact with you to request a new share code, for example. So make sure that you do reply to any emails that they send to you about that. It's very, very important. If for any reason the university is required to withdraw sponsorship of your visa, it will be the immigration compliance team that gets in contact with you. If for any reason you need to extend your visa, one example might be if you're doing a work placement, which means you won't complete your course on time, because you need more time to complete it to include the work placement, then the immigration compliance team would be the ones that issue you with a CAS to extend your visa. So you're most likely going to be in contact with them at various points. Yeah, do make sure that if you get any emails from them, just please reply to them as soon as possible. And finally, I work for the visa advice team. It's slightly similar to what immigration compliance does, but we also provide more detailed information on visas. So if you, for example, if you need to extend your student visa in the UK at any point, then either myself or my colleague Jason, we would be able to help you with the process. We can book you an appointment on MS Teams to go through everything with you. We can check your documents and make sure everything's fine, so that when you apply for your visa, it should be successful and you shouldn't encounter any issues. If you do have questions about any other visa routes, whilst we aren't allowed to give visa advice on non-student visa routes, we do have useful information that we can provide you, and we can also signpost you to places where you can get reliable and useful information on your particular visa route inquiries. So do reach out to us in general if you've got any questions relating to visas and immigration. Okay, so I think if you've got any questions, you can put this into the chat. But in the meantime, if you do wish to reach out to us at any point, you can contact us on immigration compliance DMU.ac.uk, or the visa advice team can be contacted on visaadvice@dmu.ac.uk.
Great, thank you very much, Adam. So yeah, please continue to write your comments, and we will get to them at the end. But next, I'd like to welcome Andy Gale from the International Student Support Team, who will talk to you all about the fun welcome activities that you can expect to attend when you do arrive in the UK, and also all of the support that you can access during your time with us. Over to you, Andy.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, welcome everybody. Nice to have you all with us. So, as Dan said, I'm from the International Student Support Team, and we're basically a team that's available, particularly when you first arrive at DMU. You may have lots of questions and need support and advice. We're here to give you that, but we're also available throughout your stay at the university, and you can contact us by email. We do appointments. You can meet us one-to-one or online, and we'll be happy to assist you. So during this presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the activities that are going to be happening on Leicester campus, and also some of the things to be aware of before you travel and also once you arrive at the university as well. To give you a bit more information about what my team does, we have a regular on-campus social activities. We have something called Global Social, which is a regular drop-in with games, activities. We have refreshments and snacks, crafting activities, that kind of thing. We publicize those activities to students via email, so we'd love to see you at those. We also have a trips program called Explore UK, which sets off from Leicester campus. So we have done trips to all kinds of places, tourist destinations like Liverpool, Oxford, Cambridge, London, and so on. So yeah, we hope you'll be able to join us on some of those Explore UK trips going forward once you're on campus. So I'm now going to go through some of the things for you to be aware of and to have a think about before you arrive at DMU. So we've got 3 sections there: find a place to live, planning your budget, and packing your bags. So if we take the first one of those, finding a place to live, a few key points there for you. So first of all, probably seems obvious, but do make sure you've got somewhere to live and that you've got that arranged before you arrive in Leicester. Okay, that's very important. What you won't be able to do is go to a hall of residence on the day you arrive and ask for a room. Okay, you'll need to set it up in advance. So please do make sure you've got that arranged prior to you traveling to the UK. So Adam already talked about the requirement to live within 40 miles of DMU. Very important. Okay, you should be living in Leicester, ideally, not in another city. If you're living elsewhere, you're going to find it difficult and expensive to travel to your classes. Okay, so ideally, you should be living in Leicester. You can see a web link there on the right-hand side with a link to the DMU Accommodation page. They provide a range of halls of residence very close to campus, so do check that out. The other thing as well to mention, if you're arriving in the evening, do contact your accommodation provider to check that they're aware of your arrival and that they're prepared for you. Okay, so a lot of halls of residence, their main office will close at the end of the working day, maybe at 5 o'clock. But they'll generally have night staff. Okay, so if you're arriving in the evening, you should be able to collect your key, but do get in touch with your accommodation provider so they're aware of that and that they are aware of your arrival time. So planning your budget. When you apply for your visa, you will have to evidence that you've got sufficient funds in place for your living expenses. So I think the requirement is, it's just over £1,000 a month. I think it might be 1,200 that you're expected to evidence that you have. So some students might spend less than that, some may spend more, but we'd recommend that you have somewhere around £1,200 a month for living expenses. Again, it depends on your lifestyle. But you will have to evidence that you have those funds in place when you apply for your visa. We suggest that when you arrive, you have access to funds, because it might take a little bit of time for you to set up a bank account. You won't generally be able to open a bank account until you've registered onto your course. So it might take a few days or longer before you can open your account. Okay, so as it says on that slide, you'll need to register onto your course before you can open a bank account in the UK. So do have access to funds when you first arrive. You might want to try and arrange a prepaid currency card, or perhaps have a multinational bank account that you can use when you first arrive. We understand you might want to bring some cash, but we recommend not bringing large amounts of cash if you can, because obviously that's going to be less safe. And certainly we always suggest to students, once your bank account is open, do put your cash into your bank account. That's the safest place for it. I will talk more in a subsequent slide about opening a bank account in the UK. But yeah, the main thing is to ensure you've got access to funds when you first arrive. Packing your bags. So this probably seems an obvious thing to say perhaps, but the weather in the UK is very changeable. So you need to bring clothing for a range of different weather. So it's been quite cold in the UK these last few days, but the weather changes. So it can be sunny, it can be rainy. It's chilly in the UK at the moment, but as we move into spring, the weather will warm up. So you'll need to have a range of different types of clothing, but you don't need to bring everything with you. Okay, so many things you can buy in the UK when you arrive. Perhaps check with your hall of residence about what bedding you'll need, but many things you'll be able to buy once you've arrived, probably fairly cheaply. So some bedding you'll be able to buy, things like kitchen equipment you can buy once you're in the UK. So you don't need to bring everything. And you'll see there's a QR code there on the right-hand side to the International Student Guide. Lots of information in our International Student Guide. Lots of the things I've talked about here. Okay, so do check that out as well. So once you arrive, we've got sections there on Welcome Week, on registering with a doctor, and on opening a bank account. So if you're coming to Leicester campus, we have an international welcome program. It starts week commencing the 26th of January. So we know some of you will arrive later than that probably, but we do recommend that you come for Welcome Week if you can. So it's an orientation program. We've got lots of information sessions on things like careers and working in the UK, on health and well-being. We'll be running campus and city tours. There'll be sections on your visa responsibilities, on money management, and on support for study skills. So lots of really useful information sessions. There'll also be fun stuff. Oops, some of the wording's gone out of sequence there. But what that should say is 10-pin bowling. We're running 10-pin bowling in the evening. We'll be doing a trip to Oxford on the Friday. There's also going to be a samosa social session that the Students' Union are going to be running. So lots of fun activities to meet other students and to help you socialise and settle in. So try and come to that if you can. We're also doing an airport pickup service for Leicester campus. That will take place on the Monday of that week, so Monday the 26th of January. It's a free service. We'll be picking you up from London Heathrow. You can book online. The QR code there on the top of that slide is the link there to the airport pickup service. You should also have those links with the information you got when you got your CAS from the university as well. So check that email for those links too. So yeah, if you can join that service, that's great. If you're arriving on another day or on a different airport, please don't worry. It's not difficult to travel independently to the university. So there's information on our website at that lower QR code there. There's links to information about how to travel by National Express bus service or to get a taxi. Okay, so there's other information about how to travel there to DMU if you can't join our pickup service. Like I said, if you can come to Welcome Week, that's perfect. If you're arriving later, please don't worry too much. There will be other activity after Welcome Week. So we'll be running at Leicester a spring welcome event, which will be during the first week of teaching. That's a drop-in activity where lots of service providers both university and external providers will be running stalls with information. You can come and chat to those teams. There'll be faculty orientation sessions, which we'll be running with your faculty staff, with lots of more information about living and studying at the university. And the Students' Union, which is a student-led organisation within the university, they also run lots of social clubs and events as well. So yeah, lots of information and social activity after Welcome Week 2. Just to give you a bit of information about healthcare in the UK, and we'll give you more guidance on this after you've arrived, but just to give you a quick overview, when you apply for your visa, you'll pay the Immigration Health Surcharge. Now that allows you to access the UK's National Health Service, and most of those NHS services are free to use, okay, with some exceptions, but most of it is free to use. Now, once you've arrived in the UK, you'll need to register with a doctor. You might know this expression, GP or general practitioner. That's kind of a family doctor and is the main point of contact in the UK for general healthcare. Now, if you're on Leicester campus, we have a really good health service on campus called De Montfort Surgery. If you're living close to campus, register with them. But I think the key thing about healthcare is to register the GP as soon as you can. Don't wait until you're ill. I mean, hopefully you'll be healthy all the time you're at the university, but we do strongly recommend you register the GP as soon as you can. So ideally within the first week of arriving at the university. Opening a bank account. So you don't have to open a bank account in the UK, but most students want to do that. The key things that you'll need to open a bank account are your passport. You'll need a bank letter from the university. Now you'll be able to download that yourself from the My DMU Student app once you've completed your in-person registration. And if you've got other proof of address, so for example, an accommodation contract, that might be useful as well. We're often asked by students which bank they should use or which account they should use. We don't recommend a particular account or a particular bank. There's lots of banks you can use. So NatWest, Barclays, TSB, Lloyds, HSBC, Santander, all those banks will open an account for you. What we recommend is have a look online, see what the different banks offer you, see what their accounts include, or maybe perhaps have a chat with some existing students to see which accounts they use. Okay, so shop around before you decide which bank you want to use. But you can get in touch with us if you've got any questions or if you have any problems opening your account. And I think this is the final section from me. So just a little bit about homesickness and culture shock, because if you're leaving your home country, it's kind of normal to feel a bit homesick. And I don't know if you're familiar with this expression, culture shock, which is the phenomenon that people experience when they leave their home culture and go to a new country. It's kind of normal to feel maybe a bit homesick, but there are ways that you can help yourself. So one of the ways you can do that is to find familiar food. Leicester and London are both very multicultural places. So you'll always find food stores and restaurants that provide the kind of food that you're looking for. That can kind of make you feel more relaxed, more comfortable, more at home. So checking out familiar food, being active or going outdoors. So if you're feeling a bit homesick, probably the worst thing you can do is just stay in your room. But if you get outside, get some sunshine, kind of join some of the social activities, I think you'll find that goes a long way to helping you settle in as well. Lots of social activities and events. So DSU, the Students' Union, I've already mentioned, and some of the activities that my team provide as well. If you get involved with things, that'll help you to settle in. And a key message really is that giving yourself time is important. Okay, so most students will feel a little bit of homesickness, but it is normal. Okay, so I think you will always find that it will pass with time. Okay, and you'll start to feel settled and enjoy yourself. Okay, so that's it from me. Do get in touch with us if you want to, either before you arrive or once you're on campus. You can get in touch with us by email, iss@dmu.ac.uk. We also have Instagram, and you can find more information from our website as well. Okay, so we look forward to meeting you once you're at DMU. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Andy. So all of the information that you've had today is for both Leicester students and London students as well. But for those students who are joining our London campus this February, some specific information for you. So you'll be on campus 2 days a week, and that's to ensure that you have flexibility in your learning and allows you to do other activities as well outside of your kind of campus time, whether that be getting a part-time job or other personal commitments as well. And not only that is you won't start before 10 a.m. If you are on our London campus, and that's to make sure that you're able to commute to our campus and make it in on time. So obviously London in the morning is a very busy place, as you can imagine. So some of you will be getting public transport. So we don't start our lectures or our classes until 10 o'clock, just to allow you enough time to make it there. And employability is also built into the program. So whether that be workshops, employer visits, networking events, they're all scheduled in your timetable. So you'll get a lot of employability skills whilst you're studying with us. And not only that, we also have career development activities as well, working with companies such as IBM to help you build the skills that you need to then secure a job after. And you've already heard about the post-study work visa that you can apply for as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, then our course will help you achieve that. As well as that, you'll also get an international student tutor, and they're there to help you with your academic success and also help with your student experience as well. So help you with your academic skills. So there'll be lots of workshops on study skills that includes kind of referencing and everything. Maybe some of you haven't studied in the UK before, so that will really help you in terms of that new culture and that new way of learning. That will definitely help you. Help with your assessments. So we have lots of drop-in sessions which you can attend and learn about how your assessment's going and if you need any assistance with that, and lots of specialist resources as well. We also have international student transition, so helping you with that transition into a new culture, a new place, and to support you when you come to London. You also have a lot of one-to-one support and lots of advice on your well-being, communication, and settling in. And hopefully, my colleague from DMU London, Swati, is joining us now. So I'm not sure if you can hear us okay. No, so I think Swati's having a little bit of a communication difficulties this today. But what we'll do now is, if you continue to pop your questions in the comment section, please continue to do that. And I'll welcome back my other colleagues, Adam and Andy, who can hopefully help me answer some of these questions. So the first question that we do have is around sport management. So my major is sport management. Which faculty should I visit? So in terms of when you come to the campus, so I assume you're studying in Leicester, everyone will register in the same place. So please do register first. That's where you go. After that, you'll be studying in one of our new faculties this year, and that is the management course will be in that faculty. We have another question. What if we arrive late? So I think maybe Adam is best placed to answer that question.
Right. So if you're experiencing difficulties in getting your visa in time, you need to get in contact with DMU's admissions team. the latest date for registration, as I mentioned earlier, is the 9th of February. So yeah, I would discuss it with admissions, and they will be able to advise you what your next steps are based on your circumstances. That would be the best place for you to go.
Great. So it is very important that you do arrive on time. If you are having any difficulties, you might want to look to defer to our September intake. But we're on hand to support you with your situation. The worst thing you could do is not tell us and try and sort it out yourself. If you do have any problems and you know you're going to possibly arrive late, or there is a risk you might arrive late for the deadline, then please do get in contact with us as soon as possible so we can give you the right advice. Because if you do arrive after the deadline, you might not be able to register, and you will have to defer, and you might have wasted kind of the flight to the UK. Next question, in how much time is the CAS letter often issued? So normally the CAS letter, once you've met all of the conditions, including paying a deposit, and also if you need to complete a credibility assessment, normally the CAS letter is between 3 to 5 days. So if you do have any issues with a CAS letter being issued, please do get in contact with your regional teams, or you might have an agent. You can get in contact with your agent, and your agent can speak to us about the CAS letter. Obviously, over the Christmas period and into the new year, there would have been maybe a slight delay, but now we're back open since Monday, so we should be meeting that 3 to 5 day turnaround time. Another question around how can we get our appointment registration link after completing our pre-registration? Adam, is that another question for you?
Yeah, so the first thing you need to do is obviously make sure you've paid your 50% minimum tuition fees. Once that's been done, you should get an email come through advising you to do your online registration. And after that's completed, you'll get a second email come through advising you're now eligible to book an in-person international registration appointment. You will get a list of days and times, and you select whichever one is suitable for you, and then that's the date and time that you'll turn up. It will give you the directions and the building number where you need to go to do your in-person registration.
Great, thank you. Next question we have is probably again for you, Adam. I'll be living in Birmingham. Will I be in trouble for that, or the visa will be cancelled?
So as we touched on, obviously in Andy's talk to mine, the university's policy is 40 miles. So obviously Birmingham is right on the cusp of that. So I think possibly if you're living in the east part of Birmingham, you might just be within the 40 miles. And if not, you might be over it. The key thing is that Birmingham's a long way from Leicester. It's a lot of travelling, and it's obviously, more like to make it difficult for you to get to classes. If this is going to cause an issue for you in terms of getting there, then you will need to move closer. And we do advise that students live within Leicester because that's where your university is based, and it would seem to make the most sense for you to be as close to campus as possible to enable you to get the most out of your experience of studying at the Montfort University.
Okay, thank you. So as a question, how many days will I receive my CAS from the uni to apply on the 2nd of January? I assume do you mean you've met all the conditions on the 2nd of January, and now you're waiting for your CAS? If that's the case, then you should receive it within 5 working days. So that would mean by the end of this week on Friday. I think that's what you mean by the question, but if not, please do put another comment in the chat box. Next question. I haven't yet received my visa decision, and it's been over a month since I applied. I want to know if it's okay for me to proceed with online pre-registration while my visa decision is still pending. So with that one, yes. So if you've made a visa application, you can still complete your online pre-registration. But obviously you won't be able to travel to the UK until you receive your visa. So yeah, continue with your online pre-registration, and then once you receive your visa, fly to the UK and book your in-person appointment. Okay, so my nationality in my pre-registration is incorrect. How can I fix that? Adam, do you know how someone can edit their pre-registration?
Okay, so I'm presuming by that you mean on your university student record, in which case, if you get in contact with the admissions team, they'll be able to correct that for you.
Great. So I have 5,000 in fees pending. How much time will I have to pay it? So probably a question for you, Andy, around students paying the remainder of their fees.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, 50% has to be paid pre-registration. I don't have the dates in front of me actually, and unless Adam knows, but there's usually 2 pay stages where the remainder has to be paid. So I'm not sure when the dates are, to be honest.
Yeah, I would, again, probably a question for admissions, because they will be the ones that will be they can't issue your CAS to you until you've paid 50%. So if you have an outstanding balance until that amount has been paid, they won't be able to issue your CAS to you. So if you've not already, obviously get in contact with admissions about that, and they'll be able to tell you when the deadline is. But my understanding is it is by the end of this week at the latest.
Great, thank you. And Andy, you mentioned there's a question saying we get transport facilities from university. In terms of, I think that means both for kind of, you mentioned it in your presentation, but around traveling to the university, but also in Leicester. I guess what are the transport facilities good in Leicester?
Yeah, I mean, on those 2 things, yeah, in terms of travel from the airport, as I mentioned, we have that pickup date, and there's information on our website if you're traveling from the airport to the university. In terms of local travel, I mean, the university is very close to the city centre, and lots of the halls of residence are very close to the university. So you may find you don't need to travel. You don't need to get public transport or vehicle transport to get to the university from where you live, but it depends on your circumstances. I mean, as if you want to know about the bus service around the city, but yeah, the university is well connected, and many students will just walk to the university from where they live, but it depends on the student's own situation, really.
Great, thank you. Next question is, where can I find the academic calendar for the February intake? So the best place to find that is on our website. So you'll be able to see when your intake is. So you will have a large gap between during our summer, which you'll be able to be whether you want to work during that time or travel around the UK. It's up to you, but you will have a larger gap then compared to, say, when the September intake does join us. But if you do go on our website, you'll be able to find the exact academic calendar then, and you'll be able to see when all of your enhancement weeks and other breaks are.
Yeah, I think also you'll get your timetable once you've registered. So
change course.
Sorry, everybody can hear me okay?
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, just to add on to that, Dan. So after you've done your registration, you will be able to access your timetable and your calendar through your My DMU app. But obviously, it takes a few hours after registering. But then you'll have access to everything. You'll be able to see all of your classes when everything is. So don't worry too much if you're having any difficulty finding the academic calendar online. You will be given that information.
Great, perfect. Next question is, can we change course after coming to the UK? So for that one, that will be up to your faculty. So the course that you have applied for and received an offer for, you will need to start with that course. But once you've registered, you could speak to your faculty, and in some circumstances, you might be able to change course. For example, if it's a course that's similar modules, but it's unlikely, say, if you're studying a business course, to change to a, let's say, art and design course. That probably won't be permitted, because we've assessed your qualifications based on the course that you want to join. So yeah, do register with the course that you've applied to, and then speak to your faculty once you've arrived, and they'll tell you if it's possible. Question: does DMU Leicester campus also provide airport pickup service for international students? Yep. As we mentioned earlier, we do provide the pickup service. So like Andy said, if you want to join that, please do register for that. One question, Andy, are parents, if parents join the students, are they allowed to join the airport pickup?
Yes, they are. If they, what we would say is when you book a place on the pickup, email us to let us know, just so we're aware, because obviously we need to plan for the seats and luggage. So if there's going to be extra people, we need to know about it. So that's fine if you want to bring a family member or parents, but just contact us in advance so we're aware of that and we can plan for that. And the other thing, just to add, yeah, the airport pickup is on a specific date. So yeah, it isn't that specific date, 26th of January, I think it is, Monday. But information is available on the website about how to travel independently as well.
And another question, Andy, on the timings of the airport pickup.
Yeah, so basically the pickup will run throughout the day, really, on that particular date. I think on the website it says we have a cut-off time, arrival time of 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But in fact, if you're arriving later than that, we can probably do a pickup as well. So, but there aren't specific departure times from the airport. We will pick you up depending on your arrival time. Okay. So we'll either arrange a taxi for you if you're traveling on your own. If there's a bigger group, if there's a group of students all arriving at the same time, we might arrange a bus. But once you've made your pickup booking, we'll arrange the pickup to coincide with your arrival time. So book your place online, and then we'll liaise with you directly by email to set everything up with you.
Great. So my course duration is 16 months. So I need to stay the whole 16 months, or can I travel back to India? Adam, are students able to travel outside the UK on a student visa?
Yes, they are. Yeah, you're permitted to travel at any point from the start until the end date of your visa. Obviously, if you're traveling quite late on, then you could be stopped at the border control and asked to explain why you're coming back. And obviously, depending on your reason, you might want to provide some evidence with that. For example, if you're attending a graduation ceremony, if you've passed your course, then you might want to take your invitation letter with you just to show the border force officer. But yeah, that's absolutely fine about traveling at any point during the validity of your visa.
Great. So yeah, I would recommend once you register and you receive your timetable, you'll be able to see when you have longer periods of not having to attend classes. So then you'll be able to see if you want to travel back to your home country or you want to go around Europe. Some students, when they arrive, they plan to kind of see other countries in Europe. Yeah, so get your timetable first, and then you'll be able to plan your kind of next 12 to 16 months. I'm struggling to find budget-friendly accommodation in Leicester. So in terms of accommodation costs in the UK, Leicester is one of the most affordable places to live. But in terms of where to find the accommodation, so you can either book accommodation through DMU. So you'll be able to access our accommodation portal, and you can see what options there are. So there are some more budget-friendly options and still closer to campus as well. In Bede is probably the most budget-friendly accommodation that we do have. So do look on there. But then there's also options to stay off campus, but still in Leicester, still within 5 to 10 minute walk, in a house or an apartment, and there you're looking at between 70 to £100 per week. We also have an estate agent on our campus that's run by our student union, which is something that's relatively unique in the UK. Again, there's budget-friendly options on there. They're called SU Lets. So perhaps after this session, if you want to have a look on their website, there may be options there for you. But please do, if there's any issues, getting in touch with our accommodation team, who will have emailed you once you've paid a deposit. So you should have their email address. But if not, it's accommodation@dmu.ac.uk, and they'll be able to advise you on that. But for me personally, I studied at DMU myself. After my first year, I moved out of campus, and it was much cheaper to do that. So yeah, there's lots of options for you.
Just to add to that, Dan, as well, that the student union advice team have some information on their website for international students if you're looking for accommodation, which is very helpful, particularly if you're looking in the private sector, things to be aware of, things to look for. So you might want to check their website for that guidance. That's quite helpful, I think.
Great, thanks, Andy. Question, could you please confirm if the international registration appointment needs to be booked before classes start, or it can be completed after classes have begun in case the visa decision is delayed? Adam, one for you, I think.
Yeah, so obviously, as we discussed before, the start of registration is the 26th of January, and the latest date that you can register is the 9th of February. That is a hard deadline, so there won't be any extension beyond that. We would advise you to arrive to register as soon as possible, because obviously, you don't want to be missing classes. You're paying fees and for this, and so you obviously want to be attending as many classes as possible. So we would advise you to attend your registration appointment as soon as you can. To make sure that you get to attend as many classes as possible.
Yeah. So that deadline is extremely important that you meet that deadline. So if you won't be able to arrive on or before the 9th of February, you will need to tell us as soon as possible, and we can look at deferring your application to the next available intake for your course, which should be September. I have paid my 50% fees and I've completed my pre-registration. So in how many days I will receive my registration link to attend? So you should receive it now. I don't think there's any delays in that. So once you complete your pre-registration, I believe you'll receive a link quite soon after. Maybe if it's over a week, do get in touch with us, and then we can find out what's happened and why you haven't received a link.
Yeah, the other thing is check your spam junk folders as well. Sometimes the emails go through into there.
Yeah. How can I access my DMU app? Andy, I guess it's once the student registers, they'll be able to access that.
Yeah, I think that's right. Once they've completed in-person registration, they'll have access to the app.
How many days is classes for MSc International Business Management? So it will range between 2 to 3 days. You'll normally be in classes. If you're in Leicester, if you're studying a postgraduate course in London, you'll be on two days a week. But there'll be a lot of flexibility for you. So a lot of students will be interested in getting a part-time job. Like we mentioned, you can work for 20 hours per week whilst you're studying. and we would support you with that. There's lots of opportunities on campus. Some of you might want to become a student ambassador, or in a city which is within 2 to 5 minutes walk of campus. There'll be lots of jobs available for you. And once you receive your timetable, you'll be able to see kind of when you'll be free each week, and then you can plan your work around that. How much time does it take for the processing of visas? So it depends where you're applying from. So different countries have different turnaround times. Some are really quick, some are not so quick. So it might be worth, if you have an agent, speaking to the agent, because they'll know, they would have applied for other students as well. So they'll probably know for this intake what the turnaround time in your individual country is, maybe even in your individual city. If you do have any concerns, we do recommend applying for a quick visa. So you can apply for that, and you should receive that quicker, but it does depend where you're applying from. Okay, could you please guide on how to register with a GP after arriving on campus? Andy, I think one for you.
Yeah. So basically, you register with the GP that's closest to your UK accommodation. So I already mentioned, if you're on Leicester campus, we have a health centre in the centre of campus. You'd normally register there. If you're elsewhere, or if you're living further away, the UK National Health Service has a web page where you can enter your postcode, and it'll give you the addresses of the GP surgeries closest to where you're living. So basically, you register with the GP closest to you. In terms of how you register, well, certainly at De Montfort Surgery in Leicester, you can either go to the surgery in person and they'll give you the forms to fill in. You can register that way, or you can go on their website and register online. So either of those two ways, and you'll basically need to complete information with your medical history and contact details and so on. But it should be relatively straightforward. And as we've said, do it as soon as you can is what we recommend.
Great. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks Andy, and thanks Adam for all of the detailed advice that you've given today. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope that was helpful for you. Obviously, a lot of you will be arriving in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So we wish you all the best with all of your travel plans. We wish you a safe flight to the UK. And no matter if you're joining us in Leicester or joining us in London, we're really looking forward to welcoming you to campus. Like I mentioned earlier, this will be on YouTube, so you can go back, fast forward, and get all of the information that you need. But if you do have any more questions, please do get in contact with your regional team, and we'll be happy to answer. So once again, thanks for joining, and we look forward to welcoming you soon. Bye.
Bye.
See you.